Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. In this episode, we're going to make an absolutely delicious comfort food. It is a tuna melt. Now, you probably remember it from your childhood, and you probably have fond memories. It's as tasty now as it was then, so I hope you like it. So come on, let's cook. Okay, so here are the ingredients for our tuna melt. First, I have 2 English muffins. Now, they're lightly toasted. The reason you don't want to toast them too much is that we are going to have to put them in the oven. So that additional heat will absolutely turn them just crumbly, which isn't pleasant when you're having a tuna melt. So just lightly brown, lightly toast them, and that's fine. The next thing we're going to use is 2 tablespoons of minced celery, 2 tablespoons of minced red onion. You can use yellow or white onion if you want, or eliminate it altogether. That's totally up to you. I scored some fresh dill, so I'm going to add that in. That's going to be about a tablespoon of dill minced. If you had dry dill, you can use a quarter of a teaspoon of it. I wouldn't add too much more because it's pretty potent in the dried form, or you can eliminate the dill altogether. This is just a treat. I feel very fortunate to have that. We're going to add a dusting of garlic powder, a dusting of black pepper, 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, and then I have just over a half a cup of shredded cheese, and that is Fiesta blend. I always love my Fiesta blend cheese. If you have cheese squares, that's the classic way to make it. So when we put everything together, you just plop that on top, and that's where we get the melt part. Then the final thing, of course, we have to make it a tuna melt, not just a melt, is a can. It's a 5-ounce can of tuna. Now, I have this solid white albacore, which was on sale. I usually can't afford that. That's the good stuff. But if you have whatever tuna you like, just use that. There's also, usually I'd use like a chunk light tuna, and that's fine. The only thing I usually do is use the tuna in water. It just tastes so much fresher to me. Some people absolutely swear by oil, so that's totally up to you. Let me show you how to put all this together. Okay, now I already took the tuna, opened the can, squeezed the water or oil out of it, and just put it in this bowl. This is our mixing bowl. And now I'm going to take our celery and give it a nice fine mince. You don't want big chunks of celery mixed in. So you could see I just cut it lengthwise, and then just do this, make these little pieces. And when I make tuna salad of any sort, celery is pretty much a must. I won't eat tuna when it's just tuna and mayonnaise. I just don't enjoy it. Everyone likes it a different way. Even if you put tomato and lettuce on the sandwich, I won't enjoy it as much if it has celery in it. It's just the way I've always had it. And I'm sure your family has rules on what goes into a tuna salad too, and I bet they're fantastic. So there's our 2 tablespoons of celery. Nice and minced up. And now I have this onion already, and you can tell this onion is a little bit battle worn. I shoot this show and I use my ingredients up. I don't come out with a new onion and throw away the old one every time. I guess it's just the way I was raised. So even though it looks a little battle worn, it'll be perfect. In fact, I think it makes it more interesting. So what I'm doing is scoring the top of the onion with these little parallel lines, real close together, and then I'm going perpendicular to form these little squares at the top. And I'll show you because it makes a nice, quick minced onion without having to keep chop, chop, chop on the cutting board. And all I'm doing is cutting down the face of the onion. And there we go. There's our 2 tablespoons of minced onion. Just adds such a nice complexity to a basic tuna salad. And I do have a tuna salad recipe, this basic recipe, on Step by Step Chef as a standalone. And you can use it in salads and sandwiches, and as you're seeing right now, in a tuna melt. And now I'm just going to take the dill, and if you have dried dill, add your 1/4 teaspoon of dried dill now. And I'm just finely mincing this too. I just absolutely love dill in tuna salad too. And like I said, the dried dill is just fine. But if you can ever get fresh herbs, work with them because they're just so delicious. And sometimes I'll raise dill, but it just hasn't been doing that well lately. I don't know why. Maybe just the quality of the plants that are being sold in my area. But dill is absolutely delicious, and I love it on just every kind of fish. So there's a tablespoon of dill. And we'll just move this forward. Here's our dusting of garlic powder. And if you don't like garlic powder, don't add it. You could even add a little bit of a clove of garlic to it, all crushed up. But it just adds a nice little complexity to a tuna salad. Here's our pepper. Nice dusting of it. Do it to your taste. And here's our mayonnaise. I'm adding 2 heaping tablespoons. You can add more, you can add less. It's one of those ingredients that everyone has a different opinion about. Some people like just a little touch of it. And some people, they'll add an equal amount of tuna and mayo. It's just the way they like it. And that's one thing about cooking. And any art you can ever imagine, it's a matter of taste. I mean, there are some classical rules to it. I mean, there are certainly things you probably would not add to a tuna melt, like pepperoni, or maybe you would. I don't know. Every time I think there's a rule, someone breaks it. But you can see I'm breaking up the tuna, mixing it nice and evenly in with the other ingredients. Wow, that's going to be yummy. And you kind of get it a little bit smooth. You don't want big chunks of tuna in this. You want it nice and blended so all the different flavors are standouts. The other thing I want you to do now is preheat your oven 400 degrees, bake with the rack in the center. That's going to give all the ingredients a nice chance to warm up and the cheese to melt before we devour the sandwiches. Let me just move that aside. And here's our English muffins, all toasted. And this will make several of these. Depending on how much tuna you like on them, this could easily make 4 and maybe as many as 6. But I'd say about 4 is about right. 4 tuna melts. Yeah, 4 is good. Otherwise someone's going to get mad because they got shorted on tuna and someone else got more. And I don't want those letters. I do not want to hear about any battles over my tuna melt recipe. Tuna melts are supposed to be fun. And of course the final item we add is the cheese. Again, if you have cheese squares, just lay it on top. You know, some people like it where it just melts right over the side, and that's fine. And now I have this baking pan with aluminum foil on it. And I do that with my baking pans because when this cheese or a lot of other ingredients stick to a pan like this, it's just impossible to get it off there, and it's not a lot of fun either. So I'm just putting this on the pan, and I'm going to put it in the oven, and I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm going to give it 5 minutes at 400 degrees and see how much the cheese melts. And depending on your oven, you might need more time. So let's put it in for 5 minutes and I'll be right back. So congratulations, look at what you just made. You just made this delicious tuna melt. It's absolutely delicious. It smells delicious. It tastes delicious. It looks pretty good too. Now if you like this recipe, please visit my website, stepbystepchef.com. There you're going to find a free printable version of this recipe and free printable versions of 150 plus other recipes and free video links. You're going to find an awful lot there for every taste in breakfasts, lunches, and dinners. I think you're going to like it. The other thing I hope you like is my cookbook, Cooking with the Step-by-Step Chef. I update this every November with the prior year's recipes. We're up to 114 in this edition. I'm over 150 recipes when I made this program, and probably in another year or two, there's going to be 8 million videos on the site. 8 million. I have that kind of time. So anyways, check out the book. It's a great gift. It's takes all those recipes, puts them in one place, and I think you'll enjoy it. So my name is Larry Richardson. I am your step-by-step chef, and I'll see you in the next episode.